Well, today's job for the acoustic bass guitar is to make some laminated binding. Um, for those of you who may not be familiar with what that is, this is the binding for the edge of the body, and this is maple, and it has a layer of walnut on it and then a layer of maple. And I need one with just the layer of walnut and no maple, so I'm going to do that today. That's today's job. And I just finished hand planing the edge of a piece of curly maple. This maple has got so much interlock grain in it, and the curl is so replete that it actually doesn't joint very well. It leaves bumps and mill marks in it that I don't care for. So a good sharp hand plane, wicked sharp, or should I say stupid sharp, will do the job nicely. And it has. I've got a real nice surface here. Spoiler alert for those of you who might be the guitar makers, especially if you're fairly new to this. To do this job, you've got to have a drum sander or a friend that has one, or you've got to buy veneer if you don't have the drum sander, because I needed to get some walnut down to a lousy 30 thousandths of an inch thick. And I've made 2 strips of this, and that's what we're going to use for this laminate. And I'm going to show you now my technique for putting it together, and then as we go along, the technique I use to refine the whole thing. Now the glue up for this is certainly nothing complicated. It's the technique afterward, I suppose, that really makes the difference. What I'm going to do is glue this veneer down to this nice refined edge, and then from this surface, from this veneered surface, I'm going to bandsaw off the binding and purfling piece and drum sand that opposite side, the maple side, down until I get the final dimension that I want. It's really nothing more complicated than that. And I'm going to do 2 iterations of this, and I have to do it in separate moves because I have the look that I want on this side of this piece of curly maple, but on the opposite side it changes color, and I don't care for that color. So this will be a, shall we say, long 2-step operation. I have my veneer glued. I've just taken this out of the clamps, and so now my plan is to rip off this side from the veneered side, to rip off a piece that'll be just a little bit wider than the finished thickness, and then from there I'll drum sand that. So my next step, speaking above the noise of the dust collector, is to remove narrow strips from this laminated section. So I'll be ripping from this edge. I'm doing that on a bandsaw because it will remove less material each time I make a cut. And I'll get as many passes out of this as I can, and then drum sand those to final thickness. So here's my finished binding. Out of the single strip that I made up from that billet, I got 9 pieces out of it. And that's obviously enough for 2 guitars, but a quick tip for anybody that's doing this maybe for the first time, uh, especially in a figured wood, make a lot more than you need. For one thing, it's nice to have plenty of it on hand, I suppose, if you want more of it. But an example here is, I don't know if you can see this, but right there, there's quite a nasty chip that fell out of that when the bandsaw hit it. Now, I could have used a bandsaw blade with fewer teeth, or excuse me, with more teeth in it, and I probably should have, but that's not going to go around the guitar. It's going to leave an imperfection that you'll see from several feet away, so that piece is no good. That's one of the reasons I guess you need to make more than you actually require for a particular instrument. At any rate, there it is. And as usual, I want to thank you for watching. I am the Pragmatic Luthier, Kevin Ledoux at Ledoux Guitars. Uh, I hope you'll put a like on this video and maybe subscribe to my channel. And I guess I better repeat it again. Two things I should repeat. Make your tools stupid sharp, and I am the largest manufacturer of acoustic guitars in the entire town of Triangle, New York.